Hey, this is Notser, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Siliwangi. This is the premium Tier 8 Pan-Asian destroyer, and it helms from Indonesia, its home base. It was transferred over to the Indonesian Navy by the Soviet Russia Navy. And as you might imagine, this looks like a particular Russian ship that's in the game right now. Can you guess which one? If you guess the Ognevoi, you are correct. It has that same awkwardness all the way around. It's got 4 130mm guns on 2 gun turrets, same gun velocity as the Ognevoi, same HEAP. And this is kind of weird with the Pan-Asians. They sort of switch back and forth between the different Cold War teams. You get high gun velocity, great AP of the Soviets, and then on the complete opposite end of that spectrum, you've got the high arc, slow gun velocity of the Americans with fast turret traverse. Now, the Luoyang is a Benson with hydro, a 4-gun Benson with hydro. This is a 4-gun Ognevoi with hydro and deepwater torpedoes. These deepwater torpedoes can damage everything except for DDs, and if this is 6 months from now and subs are out of the game, I don't know if they have allowed submarines to take damage from deep water. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if they'll update the rules for deep water, but we got deep water torpedoes on this. 10-kilometer range deep water torpedoes. And then on top of that, they're coupling the deep water torpedoes with sort of a Pan-Asian smoke, which, if you don't know, Pan-Asian smoke's outstanding. I mean, long duration, a lot of charges. It's very useful for denying the target the ability to see you. And then you've got the Luoyang Hydro, which is one step lower than the Z-52 German Hydro. It's actually an outstanding Hydro for Tier 8. I feel like it might be a little too powerful, especially when you compare it to the German Hydro at Tier 8. It is not anywhere close to as powerful. But then there's a part of me that says, you know, the Luoyang only has 4 guns. The Siliwangi only has 4 guns. It's not really designed to do a smoke hydro brawly around the capture point like the Germans, or even the Luoyang. It is an awkward, ugly duckling that is trying to do 10 different things, and every once in a while you'll get a game where everything comes together, but most of the time, I feel like this ship is a game manager. And, oh, enemy aircraft carrier, get over here. Get your hands off me. The range of the AA is subpar, but the detection is nearly 1-to-1, so you can pretty much keep your AA on if you would like. I think the difference is probably half a kilometer to a kilometer. And the AA itself, it seems pretty fair. You know, the speed of the ship is Soviet. That allows you to really close the gap on ships, unlike some of the American variants. Remember, we don't get speed boost on the ship. I can't equip it. I can't equip defensive AA. This is pretty much what you see, that's what you're getting. And what you're getting is just a game manager. I haven't had a good game where I felt like, oh man, deep water torpedoes are awesome. Because guess what? The deep water torpedoes, 2 minutes. It takes 2 minutes to reload these torpedoes. I only have 4 guns. So 2 minutes for 8 torpedoes. 8 to 10. I don't know exactly the number off the top of my head. We'll see in a little bit and we'll answer that number. And then 4 mediocre guns. Because 4 is just a low number. It's just really awkward. So we're headed over towards the B point. We got an enemy Benham. He also has 4 guns. He's a Benson at Tier 8, which is up to Tier 9, but it has a torpedo loadout. But with Hydro, that's not going to be a problem. It is really nice to have this Hydro. This makes it very comfortable to take objectives and keep the players back. You know, the Hydro is basically 1-to-1 with my concealment, 5.8, 5.5, or 5.9. 5.9 to 5.5. So 400 meters I have to cover. Very easy to cover, by the way. And I can then open up cautiously in smoke and use my super slow damage per minute gun system to try and wear out the target. That's what you're trying to do. And sprinkle in a little deep water torpedo here and there. And every time I try to play it to the best of my ability, it ends up just falling flat, in my opinion. I can easily, game manage, capture all the bases, defend the territory. Hydra's great for that, the smokes as well, and use my guns to do chip damage. But I'm relying on my teammates to provide a lot of damage per minute, and I don't really like that. Anytime you rely on teammates to do your work, you end up dropping back in your win rate, your impact over the game, and it's exactly the same situation right here. I go into a game, I can easily take the base, but I get to watch as players get to do tons and tons of damage to the target, whereas I'm sort of helpless, In this game, we lost 2 friendly DDs on the left side, and we lost 1 DD on the right side. If I'm dead, there's no more DDs, and it's all on the friendly aircraft carrier to do all the spotting. I'm going to try and use my advantage, which is the knowledge that, yes, the Frenchie had to go super hard to get 2 kills. He's got to be low, and of course he's super low. So immediately, radio location, sail right towards him. These are Soviet guns, so they do like firing from max range if you would like to do that. But they work from any range, and we clearly took the target out. There's the enemy Benham. He sent some torps, but that's not a big deal. And now we're going to send our torpedoes and watch as our 2 minutes go by before we can send another set. I'm kind of in a bad spot where it's like, okay, do I farm them with my mediocre guns? Do I play for, 1 or 2 random fire and do it in smoke because the Pan-Asians have good smoke duration? Do I ever want to try and attempt to use the smoke hydro combo? I don't know that I want to. I don't really want to put it into a 1 versus 1 and see how well my guns work out, because, I've played a lot of the Ognevoi, and it doesn't work out too frequently to rely on the guns. And then on top of that, what if the worst case scenario happens? What if you lose one of the guns? It doesn't happen frequently anymore. It used to happen all the time. I would love to tell you guys about some of the DD stories where literally 80% of your guns have been wiped out by battleships and cruisers. That doesn't happen all frequently. And I remember a very, very specific game in my Ognevoi Tier 6, losing both guns. And sitting there, feeling so helpless. And if you were to lose these 2 guns, then you would just have deepwater torpedoes. Not very good. But this is the first time we get to actually see the smoke. As you can see, the dispersion is significant. Nice little dodge there. And it's a Pan-Asian smoke with a Pan-Asian hydro and a Pan-Asian deepwater torpedo. It should be good, right? It should be solid, but the gun system itself is the downside. I don't like having only 4 guns. And I certainly don't like having only 4 guns with deepwater torpedoes. That's the bigger sin to me. I can forgive the Luoyang for 4 guns because its torpedoes can be used against all targets. I can't really forgive a deepwater torpedo ship that only has 4 guns. I just feel like that's just too much to give up. But we're able to use our smoke. It's going to come off a rapid cooldown. Love the Pan-Asians for smoke. And we're going to try and see if our deepwater torpedoes can do any damage to the Admiral Bacon. Because Admiral Bacon is going after the Atlanta, who is trying to help us kill the Benham. And I really wish that I could offer more damage, but I just can't. I'm very limited in what I actually can do. And 1 torpedo makes contact for 12,000 damage, causes a flood. But the Atlanta not looking good. We do have more ships on approach, and I do have to consider that. Also, notice that we're dealing with a cyclone. So a cyclone sets up an interesting situation. Obviously, I'm a DD with great concealment, 5.9. That's super awesome, especially with hydro. But what this ends up creating is I will spot a battleship. I'll have at least a kilometer of advantage on my concealment. He will figure out that something's in the area and he should be careful and maybe sail away. And sailing away from this and attempting to capture is the best play offered to him. But I'm just held back by the lack of actual influence over the game. I don't want to open fire. Open firing at this range would be a disadvantage. I would love to have the torpedoes, but I'm still waiting on the reload. Still waiting on the reload. And even if I get this reloaded, I'm probably only going to hit 1 or 2. Torpedoes are a lot easier to mitigate than they were at one time. At one time, having deep water torpedoes, you felt like you were almost cheating. But as the game has evolved, it has moved further and further away from torpedoes being the deciding factor. It's more to how quickly you can get your torpedoes out and overwhelm the person so that they can't actually do something. With super long torpedoes, all this Colorado has to do is in this one moment, interpret it correctly, and avoid them. And if he avoids them, then I'm helpless. So instead of giving up the cap, I decided I'm going to open fire, drop the defender, take away all of his capture credit, and just work on him with my guns. And as predicted, the guns are not that impressive. And we do clip him on the stern part of the ship. Our smoke is still billowing out because it is Pan-Asian, and I do appreciate that, but just look at this. Look at this. We've got accuracy in slot 3, but this 4 guns feels so inaccurate. I don't want to just rant the whole time about this design, but it's a freaking Ognevoi with deep water torpedoes. Did anyone think that sounded like an appealing design? I certainly didn't. Not me at all. But the Colorado moves out of the detection in Cyclone, and in fact, the North Carolina is closer. So I'm using a little bit of radiolocation to drop my hydroacoustic, which is 5.5 kilometers. Outstanding. It's probably the best feature of the ship is the 5.5 kilometer hydro. It's honestly what makes the Luoyang so devastating in competitive or rank. It can dictate the pace of the game, and it absolutely can. Even with crappy guns and crappy torpedoes, I can still somewhat dictate the pace of the game because hydro can extend out there. Yeah, sure, I can't torpedo enemy DDs, but with my hydro, I'm not going to take any torpedoes from enemy DDs. So, in a sense, neither side gets the advantage, and I'm just relying on my teammates to hit shots, which is easier said than done, let's be real. But we do clip the North Carolina, and that is good. And I am pretty effective at avoiding taking the finisher. I decided to do a widespread because the North Carolina is so close, he can't really angle away. It does, however, look like friendly Massachusetts, he's probably going to knock this guy out. And yeah, the Lexington of all targets actually takes out the North Carolina. But, we've still done a good job of managing this game. And part of the game management is hydroacoustic. There really isn't a surprise waiting for me around a corner. It's just going to take me a longer time to kill targets. So, yeah. That's the Siliwangi to me. It's a ship that is trying to do multiple things poorly, but it does have some killer traits. The hydro is a killer trait. The smoke is the best Pan-Asian smoke you can get, and that's really nice. Are the guns impressive? No. Are the torpedoes impressive? No. And yeah, that's your main armament. That's all you've got. But that's not what wins games. It's not the equipment, it's how you use the equipment. And I do appreciate that another Pan-Asian gets to experience the hydro, because I think the hydro itself is outstanding. Always has been, always will be. This kind of hydro is very intimidating to deal with. The Benham of all ships, spamming those torpedoes, he wouldn't dare try to do that against me, because he's just going to have a lot of wasted torpedoes, because I can spot them super far away and it won't actually hurt me. So, it's been interesting trying to MacGyver myself through doing enough damage. I do want to open fire on the Colorado, but I don't want to take too much damage. There's an aircraft carrier in the area. I kind of want to be under the radar, so to speak. I'm holding on to my AI. I did turn it off, and I'm trying to allow the aircraft to fly harmlessly past while we finish off this Colorado. And we're just going to unload our Soviet 130mm guns. We lose in the trade. The Lexington takes out the friendly Massachusetts, and there's actually a ram. So we've only got 2 ships left. We just have to survive, which of course is easier said than done with an aircraft carrier, but it's been going pretty well. The solid base speed. Nice. Of course we hit it right up the rear with that deep water torpedo. But a good base speed, you're not missing too much with speed boost. With a good base speed, you can, obviously take a speed flag to help with that. You could go a full torpedo build and try and leverage that and see how low you can get your torpedoes, but 2 minutes is 2 minutes. It's a long time. Even with fully improved reload, you're not getting these off much quicker than a typical DD. That's the deep water penalty that they've associated with it. Whether we agree or disagree, I think most players would agree that the Pan-Asian DDs are probably the most underwhelming line right now in the game. And honestly, I think it's just because the penalty's too great. What you have to give up to use deep water torpedoes isn't worth it. I'd much rather have a more universal solution for all types of targets than have something that is so specialized that I can't even use it against my primary threat, which is DDs. So, it just ends up feeling flat. It ends up feeling like just a weaker Ognevoi, and it's premium. So, is it worth the hydro? You know what's worth the hydro? Loa Yang. It has a Lunar New Year skin. Looks great. Although, the camo on this ship does look legit. I really like it. I think that the number looks awesome. The color scheme, everything about that is really cool. But I would never recommend you buy a ship based on its premium camo because it might get replaced by some other premium camo. So, the game manager managed this very well. 3 kills, 2 base captures, almost 80,000 damage done. We also defended 9 times, 2,255 base XP. But, it just, very anemic in its output. It's very reliant on other people. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can click the most recent or the most relevant uploads. You could also choose to subscribe to my channel. We do daily World War videos, first impression, how-to, news, and review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.